Joel Embiid's talking and making some news on and off the court. He told The Ringer this: "He's not the GOAT to me. You got Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, he has all the records. They're never going to be beaten. I don't see anybody getting 100 points in a game. That's it. He is the GOAT." Stephen A., is he right about the GOAT?
Of course he's wrong, but I love it anyway. Because here's why I love it. Joel Embiid is coming to the defense of big men throughout NBA history. He's sitting there and watching everybody talk about all of these guards. And he's like, what about us? Wilt Chamberlain was the most dominant force we'd ever seen. And then Shaq came along and he was the most dominant force of our lifetime. Qerim Abdul-Jabbar, 19-time All-Star, all-time leading scorer in NBA history. The only individual in the history of basketball with one unstoppable move. Nobody has ever come up with a remedy for the sky hook. The only person in the history of basketball, okay? So when you look at it from that perspective, Bill Russell, the one with the most Mr. Champion himself, 11 titles in 13 years. Joel Embiid, 7-1, balling, averaging 27 and 12, can all-star, a championship contender. He's like, wait a minute, what about us? So even though I disagree with him, because Jordan is Jordan, I so appreciate Joel Embiid saying it because he's reminding us there's value to big men who can ball too. Y'all must have forgot.
You know, the argument between Wilt and Bill Russell back in the day is, do you want to put up the numbers or do you want to win the championships? Even though it's a little bit unfair, Russell had a better team around him usually. But you look at Russell's performance with the championship on the line, Game 7s, it's unreal. He's clutch. And Wilt wasn't. Wilt wasn't clutch. In big moments in like Game 7, when you needed him to score, he would pass. If you needed him to pass, he would score. He was that kind of player. Look, that's the way, that's what wound up happening.
Those are facts.
So Michael Jordan is like Wilt Chamberlain plus Bill Russell. He put up better numbers than anyone, and the advanced metrics, Joel Embiid, all say it, by the way. Higher PER than Wilt and all that kind of stuff. And he won championships like he's Bill Russell. He's Wilt Russell. He's Bill Chamberlain. But beyond that, Stephen A., you want to know the difference why Jordan not only had a higher career scoring average than Wilt Chamberlain in an era in which it was harder to score? The reason that Michael Jordan, one of them, it's percentage points higher. The reason that Michael Jordan is 6-0 in championships and Wilt only had 2 championships in his career. You know what Jordan's scoring average was in the playoffs? It went up 33.4. Know what Wilt's was? 22.5. Jordan was a better statistical player than Wilt Chamberlain, and the clutch gene, it's not close. There is no argument for Wilt compared to Michael Jordan. But I love Joel Embiid for trying to make it. This dude is the best.
Well, again, he's trying to make it, but he's trying to make it in all seriousness, man, because look at what DeAndre Jordan and others have talked about. You got big men who've lost all-star votes just because they're big men. They show up. Look at Rudy Gobert. You got the poor boy crying because he didn't get picked for the All-Star. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you got this kind of stuff going on. Why? Because they go out there, you have a role to play, and you play it at an elite level. And strictly because of your size, devoid of the sizzle that comes along with it, you get robbed of the stature you have richly earned and deserved. Joel Embiid doesn't have that problem because he's got the sizzle to go along with the game, because he is box office in terms of how he talks, how he's a magnet for attention, and not only that, he's got the game to back it up. Plus, he picks out challenges, guys that are supposed to be on his level, that play his position. He goes after them. Hassan Whiteside has been reduced to complete irrelevancy primarily because Joel Embiid destroys him, okay, and talks about him while doing it. So you have those kind of things going on. But by and large, you have big men that have not been appreciated to the degree that they should. And Joel Embiid is bringing attention to that fact by making such a proclamation, which is why even though he's wrong,
Embiid.
I don't mind it.
I'll say this about Embiid. Embiid has the chance to be the most complete center who ever lived. The most complete, Stephen A. Because, okay, you bring up Hakeem immediately, right? But Hakeem wasn't Embiid's size. I'm talking about legit 7-footer plus dude, wide body, with the footwork, with the moves in the post, with an outside shot, who can pass the ball with soft hands, et cetera, play real elite defense, defend the rim. There may never have been a complete package, certainly in the modern era, like Embiid, if his health holds up. If
well, you say
his
that
health
no.
holds up.
You say if his health holds up. I say also if he's improved from last year to this year with playing with his back to the basket, showing that he's got an arsenal with his post game. He's done that more so this year, and I appreciate that because that's what I wanted to see from him. I don't want to see some 7-foot dude putting the ball on the floor, facing the basket, shooting jump shots. I want to see you with your back to the basket, drop step, being a man amongst boys. You have to have that capability too, and he's done more of that this year, and that's why I agree with you.
What else about Embiid? This is how he's like a genius. He's like a super smart guy. You could tell if you ever join a fantasy football league or something, you know who are going to be the good players based on the names, right? You see a clever name, you go, I got to watch that guy or gal, right? Like, they're smart. They know what they're doing. Embiid on Twitter even, you could see, boy, this guy has a high IQ. He's hilarious, right? You could just tell from his posts he's a smart guy. So he's smart enough to know that, in fact, he's wrong about Wilt Chamberlain and holding all the records. He knows he's a bright guy. He knows Wilt's not the GOAT, but he said he was. And what did we wind up doing? We just did a segment on national TV on Joel Embiid. He outsmarted us all.
The winner is Joel.